What's happening, guys? It's your buddy Griz, and finally I get to post this video. I think it was like 2 weeks ago that I posted the video saying I was back and ready to make lots of videos for you guys, but very soon after that my internet was cut off. It seems like there was some sort of miscommunication, I guess, with my ISP, and my service was disconnected a month earlier than I actually wanted it to. But I did learn one thing from this experience, which is that apparently a modem can stay online for up to 2 weeks after a service disconnection. Pretty cool, huh? I guess I was getting free internet for 2 weeks. Anyway, down to business. For those of you who don't know, or are just new around here, I'd like to welcome you to episode 24 of Kit Up. This is my weekly Battlefield weapon review series where you guys get to suggest weapons and setups for me to use. Then I go out and do a little review and give you my personal, humble thoughts on it. So what are we doing this week? It's the G36C as suggested by Damien Murdoch. And I chose Damien's setup because, according to him, it's a James Bond class. Yeah. I'm a huge James Bond fan, so I just couldn't resist. So we are running the Recon class, G36C with a 3.4x PKA optic. I know you suggested the ACOG, but I feel like the PKA just doesn't get enough love, and I actually find it to be the best medium range optic. I also threw a suppressor on there because 007 would never leave home without one. And to finish it out, I've got the ergo grip and the laser sight on there. For my secondary, I'm using the M9, and my equipment is the SUAV and a radio beacon. I also had the flashbangs in my grenade slot, but like the M9 and the spawn beacon, it didn't really see much action, so I'm sorry, but I don't really have any clips of them in this video. But that's okay, because we're going to focus on the G36C. Now, I see a lot of people using this weapon, and I think it has a lot to do with the April Fool's joke played on the community by X Factor and Level Cap and all those lovely gents. If you missed that, they basically said in one of their Squad Up videos that the G36C was the new God gun. Yeah, it's not. But I think a lot of people who used it after found out that, well, it isn't exactly the God gun, it isn't exactly terrible either. Oh, how I've missed rattling off weapon statistics. Let's take a look at the G36C's stats here from Simfic.com. This weapon's maximum damage is 25 and its minimum is 15.4, firing at a rate of 650 rounds per minute with a magazine capacity of 30 rounds plus 1 in the chamber for 31 total. Reload times are 2.85 seconds when empty and 2.1 seconds with a round still in the chamber. Bullet velocity 750 meters, which is 750 meters per second, which kind of surprised me when I looked at it, as it felt to me as though it would have a lower bullet velocity as I was playing with it. But that could have also been because I had the suppressor on there, which drops the bullet velocity way down to 300 meters per second anyway. That's very low, and of course would explain why it felt like my bullets were taking quite a while to reach their target if there was some, significant distance between us. Overall, I thought the G36C was, pretty decent. I did experience a lot of kill trading, however, and I'm not sure if that was due in part to me running the suppressor on there, or if I was just having a bad connection day at the time. I'm gonna go with the former though, as, I can't always blame these things on connection / netcode or things of that sort. Staying with that thought though, I'm not sure I'd call the suppressor a great attachment for the G36C. Having the stealth element can help in a lot of cases, obviously, but I'm starting to not see the point of running it when your character is constantly yelling shit. Enemy down! Ally down! Watch out! Grenade! I really wish there was a setting where you could make your character shut the hell up or like whisper instead of shouting out commentary on everything that's going on around him. In fact, I was in a match the other day where this guy kept pre-firing me around random corners, to the point where I was sure he was doing something nefarious. So I called him out and he simply replied, "Nah man, I can hear your character yelling ally down and stuff, reloading or whatever." And that makes a lot of sense. I use a Turtle Beach headset and believe me, it helps a lot. I can hear footsteps, enemies' voices, everything. So much better to the point where I can pretty much tell, at least in the general vicinity of where they are. The sound design is pretty amazing in Battlefield 4, I will say that for sure. So yeah, that just makes me go, well, what's the point of running a suppressor unless you're gonna go totally lone wolf and not join a squad or anything? I guess I can still see the advantage to running it in that scenario. Alright, let's take a look at the attachments so we can move on here. The PKA sight is, as I mentioned before, definitely one of my favorite medium range optics. It's got that nice circular reticle with the middle dot, which I just love. I really find it to be the best balance between magnification and just being able to still see what's going on in front of you. The space that this optic actually blocks when aiming down sights is minimal, and in the end, that's really what I'm looking for when I'm choosing an optic. As far as the grip is concerned, the ergo is alright to run on the G36C, but if you ask me, I would rather go with the angled grip on this guy, especially when running the suppressor. Not that there's much first shot recoil on this weapon to begin with, but I did a couple tests on the test range, and what I found was that the angled really gives you the best balance of everything. One advantage you would enjoy if you did decide to go with the ergo, however, is that increased hipfire accuracy. And seeing how the G36C performs in close quarters, you might actually want this bonus, depending on the map or game mode you're playing or what have you. But as far as the overall best feel goes, I liked the angled grip the most. Now this M9 pistol is an absolute beast. If you're looking for an extremely reliable secondary that performs well in pretty much all scenarios, then look no further than this little baby. Max and min damages are 27 and 12.1 respectively, so it's not the hardest hitter, but it's also not a weakling. 16 rounds total and a speedy fire rate of 400 rounds per minute can pretty much make the M9 seem like an obvious choice, at least to me. It's a great finisher and can even put full health enemies down rather quickly if you can get the jump on them. So the M9 gets 2 very enthusiastic thumbs up from old Griz. Alright, obviously we all know what the radio beacon does, so I won't spend too much time on it. All I will say to all you recon players out there who decide to equip the beacon is, use it! This gadget is so useful if you have a recon flanking around the outside of the map or outside of an area and placing a beacon down. Guaranteed your team will have no problem capturing that point or base if there's a spawn point nearby. So use it. And last but not least, we have the SUAV. This gadget is useful in 2 ways. Its primary function is to fly around and laser target vehicles, and that in itself is definitely helpful to the team, but it's much more fun to use this thing as a sniper wiper. Rogue kills with this gadget just piss people off to no end, and I think it's hilarious. It's the same thing with the UCAV. People get so angry because they think it's like a no-skill weapon or a cheap way to get kills. And yeah, I guess the SUAV is kind of cheap, but the UCAV is much harder to fly than people think, and it does take a certain amount of skill to be able to take helicopters out in one hit with it. Sorry, I kind of went off on a tangent there talking about the UCAV. We're talking about the SUAV, Griz. Stay focused here, man. But yeah, the SUAV is a little cheap when it comes down to them road kills. But at least you can't just fly it around road killing guy after guy like when China Rising first came out. Thank God they at least fixed that. I personally don't see much point in running with the SUAV though. It's good for one road kill a life, yeah, but the laser designation function doesn't really work out that well. The PLD is much more effective at this, and I think if you want to paint targets for your engineers, you should probably just use the PLD and forget about the SUAV. And that's pretty much all she wrote for this episode. This kit was kind of tough at times with all the kill trading and things of that nature. Also, one more note about the G36C with the suppressor. Longer range engagements are definitely the bane of your existence with this weapon, because it seems like it takes like 10 hits to down an enemy at range. It might not actually be that much, but it just feels like the time to kill is super long at range with this particular setup, so just be wary of that. Other than that, I actually don't hate the G36C as much as a lot of people seem to do. In Battlefield 3 it was one of my favorite weapons to use, but in Battlefield 4 it definitely has lost some of its luster. and it's no longer one of the top carbine choices. Lots of other carbines are 1,000 times better than the G36C, but if you feel like a little variety in your life, then by all means give it a shot. When I compare to the G36C against other weapons in that category, I don't really see any particular stat that jumps out and says, hey, you know, this is my saving grace. But if there is anything like that, please let me know down in the comments, as I'm at a total loss here. But that is going to do it for this week's episode of Kit Up. Sorry it was a little long, but I wanted to give you guys a nice beefy episode for the return. I'm so glad to be back, and I hope you guys are happy to see the series return as well. As always, make sure you leave me a comment with your suggestion for a kit I can review for the next episode. And for all the newcomers to the channel, and you know, just to remind everyone else, if you're not going to leave a suggestion, maybe please take 2 seconds at the end of the video to sort of skim the comments and like or thumbs up any suggestions from other people that you'd like to see. I want to know what you guys want to see, and I usually judge that by using the suggestion with the most upvotes. So thank you so much for watching and for all your support, guys. If you're new around here, I would absolutely love for you to join us and participate in the series, so make sure you hit that subscribe button, guy! Apologies once again for making you guys wait 2 weeks for this video, but there shouldn't be any more problems on my end, and I should be back to uploading regularly from now on. Alright, that's it for me, dudes. We'll see you again very soon. Keep on rocking in the free world, and don't do anything I wouldn't do. Later!